Hello, we have another circuit ready to go. So we're going to start this one out with elbow pulls. We'll grab some weights or water bottles, and we'll start upper body, lower body, and then do double upper and lower together, just like always. So we're going to start here with a neutral spine, and we're just going to pull up. So we're working the shoulders here, and I'll show you from the side what this looks like. Neutral spine, and you're just pulling up. What you're not doing is you don't want to pull all the way up here. You want to keep everything stable, pull up and out to the side. You're going to feel the contraction in your shoulders and then bring them back down. And again, always with control. You never want to use momentum to bring the weight up, and you never want to drop them down. If you are, your weight is probably too heavy. So we're just pulling up, and it's straight up, keeping everything in alignment, keeping everything stable. We're breathing. It's a great shoulder workout here. I have a tendency when I do shoulder work, I'll go a little bit on the lighter side with the weights. If I go heavy, I have a tendency to try to use my back to pull the weight up, and you definitely don't want to do that. You're concentrating on your shoulders and maintaining control. So let's go for 3, 2, and last one here. And always finish the movement with control. So we're going to go into a deadlift to a narrow squat. These are fun because we're combining 2 separate exercises into one movement. So I'm going to start showing you from the side, and as I explained in another circuit video, the art of the deadlift. And I'm going to explain that here again. So we're going to start out narrow feet right at about hip width apart. You're hinging at the hip, and you're coming down until you can feel that pull in your hamstring. From here, you're going to use the glute muscles, squeeze together, and that is what's going to lift you up, not your back, okay? So after we get done with the deadlift, we'll come down into a narrow squat. So your exercise is going to look like this. You come down into your narrow deadlift, use the glutes to raise you up, squeeze at the top, and then you'll come into a narrow squat. And again, you're using the glutes to raise your body up. You're not pulling with your back. Here's your deadlift, and here's your squat. It's 2 exercises. Be sure to separate the movement. So as you come up from your deadlift, squeeze at the top, and then move into your narrow squat. Slow and controlled. Here's your deadlift. Come up and squeeze, and then you come into that squat, pushing your tush back, and then bringing it up with control. You're using your pelvic floor to bring your body up. Mind-muscle connection here. It takes a few reps to really start feeling it, but as long as you are thinking about using those muscles in the lower body, not the upper body. Deadlift to our squat. So again, slow and controlled movements, deadlift, and then into that squat. Now, you may not be able to reach all the way to the ground. It depends on your flexibility and range of motion. So as you come down in your squat, you're coming to the point of contraction. So if you're feeling that contraction in the muscle here, that's when you go ahead and come up. In your deadlift, you'll feel the pull in your hamstring, and that's when you contract to come up. Let's do one more round here. Squat, come up, and we'll finish off with a deadlift, contract, and then come up. If you need water, grab water now. We'll go back into our elbow pulls, neutral spine, and we're just raising the elbows up and out to the side. Simple movement. Always slow and controlled. The best part about these circuits is no matter which one you do, you will get a total body. That's why they can be mixed up together and give you a full workout depending on how much time that you have. I will be making some videos that are specific to upper body, core, and then lower body. And then those can be mixed in to the circuits. So if you do one circuit and then want to concentrate on lower body, that's also going to be an option. We'll go 3, 2, and last one here. Complete the movement down. Now shake it out, and we'll go back into lower body. So I'll start off from the side here. We're coming into a deadlift, hinging at the hip, contract and pull on the way up, and then here we're coming into that narrow squat, and then we're coming up. So again, the key here is lifting from that pelvic floor to raise the body. A lot of people have back issues when they're doing squats and deadlifts because they're trying to use their back to raise themselves up. You're supposed to use the glutes. It takes a while to feel it, but once you can make that mental connection to the muscle that's trying to contract, you'll feel a difference in the movement. It will feel more effective. Always keep your chin up. Helps to maintain a neutral spine, and you're looking about 3 feet in front of you on the floor or just generally out in front. Main thing is to keep your chin up and your eyes will follow that neutral spine. So deadlift, come up and squeeze before you go into that squat. And we'll come into the squat. So I'll switch back to the front here. With lower body, if you have heavier weights, this is where you want to use them. And if you don't have any heavy weights, the gallons of water work, kitty litter, bags of food. All you're trying to do is add a resistance. Come into that squat here. Squeeze at the top. Even I forget to do that sometimes. We're going to go one more round. So here's our deadlift. Lift from that pelvic floor. Utilize that pelvic tilt. Come down into your squat. Same thing here. We're going to lift from the pelvic floor and come up. All right, we're going to go now into the upper and lower body combined. We're going to have a plie squat with a overhead tricep extension. So, key about the plie squat is when your toes are out and in your plie, you're going to come straight down. So your back is going to be perfectly straight. Your pelvis is tucked under, so this is a good time to practice that pelvic tilt. When you come down, you want your weight in your heels, and you're going to pretend like you're pressing out. So if your feet were on a slippery surface, they'd go out like this. So we're going to combine that with a tricep overhead press, and we're going to come here and press up, down and press up. You can use one weight or 2 weights. We're just utilizing the upper and the lower body together, raising the heart rate. When you come up, squeeze at the top. Don't lock your knees. Come down and come up. 5, 4, 3, 2. We'll go one more here. And we're done with strength and we can start cardio. Grab some water if you need to. We'll come into what I like to call frog jumps. So, if you're following the progression of the circuits, when you're in the strength section, your heart rate is about a level 3. As you move into cardio, you want it to jump up to about a 7. And then as you're going back into core, you want it to come down to that level 3 again. So your heart rate is going to go up and then it's going to curve down. That is the progression of HIIT. That's what we want, and that's what's going to create the calorie burning efficiency that we're looking for in these circuits. So we're going to start off with little frog jumps. These are like jump squats, but they're just little hops up and down. And again, during cardio, you can really do anything that you want as long as it's raising your heart rate. So we'll just continue here. If your heart rate doesn't jump up where you want it to be, what you're going to do is you're going to jump higher or jump quicker. You can even modify this into a fast squat. So that's going to look something like this. But you want to build some speed here and you want to use your arms. So wherever you're at in your cardio, if you need to modify it to lower your heart rate a little bit, or if you need to speed it up, you can do anything here as long as you're holding it about level 7 on a scale from 1 to 10. So we'll get back into it here. Again, it's just 3 to 5 minutes. Doesn't have to look pretty, doesn't have to be coordinated, just has to do the job of getting your heart rate up. Okay, we're gonna go into a skier. And what these look like is little skis from back and forth here. So if you're here, this is about a low modification. So if your heart rate is not up, then you're just gonna make these movements faster. Use your arms, pump those more. These little cardio moves can also be a little bit of a toning because you are contracting some of your muscles here. But our priority in the cardio is obviously to get our heart rate up. So we don't need to concentrate on the lunges from side to side. We need to concentrate on that heart rate. So it's just a quick step, side to side. And again, this is just to show that you can do this in a really small space. It doesn't require much area around you, doesn't require much equipment. You just want to make the most of what you have available to you. If you have the option to buy a couple of different weights of dumbbells, that's great. If you don't, you can utilize stuff around your house. Okay, so we'll come back into those frog jumps. Grab some water if you need to. Heart rate is still up. So we're just gonna do little jumps here. And you can work the arms. You can hop in a circle if you want. I just add these little varieties to it because when I'm in the studio, sometimes there's a lot of people in there, so I've got to come up with cardio that you can literally do standing in one spot. And this is what we do. It raises the heart rate without having to move around. We're almost done with these frog jumps. Go back into those side to sides. Okay, let's go back into the side to sides. So we're here and we're just going side to side. And we'll pick up speed. Of course, I'm showing a little bit of a lower modification here. When you're doing this at home, you want to be putting some pretty good effort into it. My heart rate's up, and it's getting up throughout these circuits. So you can use your arms here. And in my classes, they're all breathing hard, they're all working, even me. Everyone always says, you know, why don't you just tell everybody what to do? I say, well, if I'm not doing it with them, then they don't work out as hard. So even though sometimes I have to take the modification because I'm talking the whole time, I'm still in there, I'm still doing it with them. This does translate to my actual workout, so I do want to make sure I'm getting it in. Okay, we're almost done here. We'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one here. Do a little bit of standing abs. We're going to twist arm to knee. So, standing neutral, we're just going to take knee to elbow, and we're going to alternate arm to leg. So our heart rate is still up, but when we're here and we're doing standing abs, don't just go through the motions here. Think about that core and think about really trying to twist it. So if you're on the floor and you're doing a bicycle, this is about the same type of movement. You're bringing the upper and the lower body together, adding a twist, but we want to maintain that contraction in the core. Belly button, you want it going towards the spine. Opposite arm, opposite leg, concentrating right in that core. Really dig into it here. We'll take it 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one here. We'll come down to the ground, do a little bit of core movement. So we're going to do some butterfly crunches, and these are good because when you're doing these, you want to squeeze the heels together so that you're engaging the lower abs more and you'll feel it more. So we'll come down here. We're in a butterfly position, and we're going to take the heels and we're going to squeeze those together. So we're squeezing into the midline. First, we're going to start out rocking the lower body. Again, lower back pinned into the ground. gonna rock here. These are hard to keep your lower back pinned. So it could be helpful if you stabilize the upper body with your hands behind your head. We're rocking up. And here, we're gonna make sure that we have that hold, and we're gonna statically hold right here. And what you're gonna feel in the hold, you're gonna feel your inner thighs. So your low back is pinned to the ground, the belly button's going into the spine. Everything is contracted in your lower body. We're gonna hold here. Now we're gonna bring up the upper body and do little pulses. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hold the contraction here. And we're just gonna hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it for that one. So yeah, the butterfly crunches are a really, really tough one. But they do, with the concentration in the inner thighs, they will contract the lower abs a little bit better so you get more intensity in there. And the low abs are one of the hardest areas to target in the body. So we're gonna be doing a lot of static holds, utilizing that lower body contraction within the abs. It's a transverse abdominals. And my class always gets riled up whenever I say, we want to utilize the internal girdle. But it is really important in stabilizing the core and really bringing in those inches. So we're gonna do a lot of that work coming up. And if this is your last circuit of the day or your first one, I hope you are enjoying and have a great day. Thanks.